A number of things to talk about today. Cases again. We've had a couple more cases, and we'll talk about those in just a moment, additional cases. But we're also going to talk about how we're going to try and get back to being normal. We started that conversation yesterday. And so this week, starting today, we're going to start to roll out the ideas, the concepts around how we get back to as close as possible to where we once were. We're not going to be able to get back there immediately. And in some respects, there may be some things we never get back to. You've heard the discussions that the idea of shaking hands may be something that we don't do anymore. The idea of congregating in closed areas where you have a lot of people inside a closed area, that may not happen for some time. But there are things that we can do because we're doing a pretty good job right now on our numbers. Again, the cases, and Dr. Zink will talk about that here in a moment. But what we want to do is we want to try and get back to as normal as possible. We all do. And so part of what we're going to look at is how do we measure that? How do we know that what we're doing, if we start to, for example, open up certain sectors of the economy, which we need to do and we want to do, but we're not going to do it at the expense of the health of Alaskans. How do we go about doing that? How do we measure what we're doing? Is it working or is it not? And so we're going to have some graphs and some charts and some other metrics, as they say, to follow the cases and how the cases actually end up in Alaska. Do we see a big spike in Alaska as a result of things that we do? Or do we see a leveling off or a growth, but not a growth that overcomes our hospital capacity? That's what we're really looking at, is how do we deal with this virus? We know it's here. We know that there'll be more people infected. But can we keep that infection down? The rate of growth of that infection in the state of Alaska. Can we keep it down and in a manner that we can track, we can follow, and we can treat people as we ramp up our testing capabilities? And we're doing that every day as well, and the doctor will talk about testing as well. And so we've been having conversations with a number of experts. We've been having conversations with some leaders in our communities as to how do we go about doing this. So again, that we maintain the health, we keep the cases underneath our ability, our capacity for our hospitals. How do we do that and still open up sectors?